no more. You have lost your sense of shame. So you're no longer human beings. You've become a race of animals. We lost Martin Luther King because America did not want to hear a word that would make her a just society. So America kills your leaders. America kills your leaders and then names streets after them. But the leader's dream dies and you ride on Martin Luther King Boulevard. You see, when you describe the Christ figure, both from the Revelations and from Daniel, you get a dark man. You don't get a Caucasian. You say, well, what difference does it make? If it didn't make a difference, why did you paint him white? You give us scripts to play. We're so happy to be in a movie. But you write the script. And you write us in as clowns and buffoons. You know what you're doing to our mind. You know what you're doing to our psyche. I never did that to Jews. But some Jews did that to black people. We build your country and we get nothing. We build your business and we get nothing. We are the music industry and we have nothing. You suck the blood of the black community and you feel we have no right now to say something about it? What do you think I am? God gave us sex, and we turn it into an ugly thing. God gave us color, and we turn it into an ugly thing. God gave us creation, and we turn it into an ugly thing. We have turned against God, and now God has turned against us.
Minister Louis Farrakhan, the controversial leader of the Nation of Islam. He's been called enlightened and inspirational. He's also been called racist and anti-Semitic. Many people are thrilled that I'm having him here tonight. Others are furious with me. But as the Public Enemy lyric goes, I gotta do what I gotta do. I hope something positive comes out of the next hour. It's time.
Let's get it on. We only got an hour. Let's get it on. It's really time to get busy. Author Pearl Cleage, is that how you say her name? She wrote me a personal letter recently, and she said the only real defeat is when we stop talking to and stop listening to each other. I've said a prayer, and there's nothing else to do but say, ladies and gentlemen, the leader of the Nation of Islam, Minister Louis Farrakhan. It's only an hour show, so I figure we'll get right down to it. Why do you think there has been so much resistance to me having you on the show? I've even, not just white people, I've had black people tell me what you need to do is get sick on Wednesday. True story. Get sick on Wednesday and cancel Thursday, Friday.
Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Unfortunately, millions and millions of people on this earth are deprived of that particular truth of which Jesus spoke. And the great fear of those who hold our people in captivity is that our people will come into that particular truth that will make us a free people, justified and equal before God and man. If I were on the Donahue show, as I have been invited again to Donahue, I've been invited by Barbara Walters and Forrest Sawyer, Connie Chung, and Tom Brokaw and Katie Couric and Mike Wallace. And
How about
Springer.
Oprah and Montel?
No, not yet. But the point is, Arsenio, that as long as I'm on a show where they think I will be seriously opposed, it's all right. But you, as my brother, would allow me to stand here or sit here and, as they think, give me a free ride or a Valentine show, then their fear is that nobody will oppose me, and as a result, truth will get out and people might be made free. But as we talked about this show before all of this controversy arose, I told you then and I tell you now, ask me anything that is in the hearts and minds of your listeners, white or black, Jewish or Gentile. And if I cannot answer those questions with truth, then I have no business being on this show.
Let's start with, let us start with, because I have gone into the neighborhood and I've gone to the furthest suburb trying to find out what's on people's mind, my research department. One question that comes out of the neighborhood most often is, who killed Malcolm X? Since the movie, there are a lot of people who feel, you know, Minister Farrakhan had something to do with that. And I know you've heard it.
Yes, I've heard it. More so now than ever before. When Malcolm was assassinated, if you would go back and read all of the accounts, the name of Louis X, as I was called at that time, was never, ever, ever mentioned. Why now? You know, brothers and sisters, we have to look at motives and intentions. Whenever you see a dead body exhumed, somebody has ordered it. Someone in high authority has given permission. Whenever a great leader of ours dies, we respect and honor their memory. White leaders, when they die, their memory is respected and honored. But white folk don't follow their dead leaders. White folk understand that the dead are gone, and the burden of life is with the living. Malcolm X, on the day he was assassinated, the papers came out, the New York Times, saying, quote, "The apostle of hatred is dead." If Malcolm X 30 years ago was the apostle of hate in the eyes of the New York Times, and in the eyes of the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith 30 years ago, Malcolm was the leading black anti-Semite. What happened in 30 years to clean up his image? And I suggest to you that the reason my name is being brought up today is because Farrakhan has inspired the hearts and minds of tens of hundreds of thousands of black people all over America. And because they don't have a living man that can fight against me, that they can put up against me, although they continue to try, they desire now to raise the dead. And because that is the saddest episode in the history of the Nation of Islam, of which Farrakhan, who was a student of Malcolm and an adorer of Malcolm, but became an enemy of Malcolm when Malcolm split from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because of that fact, and because of the fact that I wrote an article in the Muhammad Speaks saying that Malcolm was worthy of death, and several months later, Malcolm was assassinated, the press would like for black people to believe that Farrakhan had something to do with the assassination of Malcolm, not because they really believed that, because if that were so, the grand jury should open this case again and bring Farrakhan before courts of law. But the press does not want to do that. They want to try Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam in the media and castigate us in the media. But that is only because what is in my mouth is freeing black people all over the earth. And so if they can discredit me, then the truth that I speak will be of non-effect. I don't know who murdered Malcolm, but I believe with all my heart that two men who belonged to the Nation of Islam, who were picked up after Talmadge Hayer was picked up at the Audubon Ballroom, have been charged and found guilty of a crime that I believe those two men were innocent of. During the trial, Talmadge Hayer, who was the brother that was caught at the scene, said in court that the other two men were absolutely innocent. And when he was asked to name the co-conspirators in the murder of Malcolm, he refused to do it at that time. So those two innocent men went to prison for 26 years of their life. But during that time, Talmadge Hayer, under Kunstler, named all 5 of those who were with him in the assassination of Malcolm, and Kunstler tried to get the government to reopen the case, and they refused to do it because it suits the government's purpose to say that the nation, and that's a big name, the nation killed Malcolm. You cannot try the Nation of Islam for what a few men have done any more than you can try the Pope of Rome or the Catholic Church for what errant Catholics do, or you can try the rabbis for what errant Jews have done, or any other religious group.
Journalists have also accused me of doing this show for ratings. It's deeper than that, and you better act somebody. I'll be right back with more Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes. Oh, boy, I've never had this many notes for an interview. Got a call from Whoopi Goldberg, who was very confused about this night. She's black and she's Jewish. I've gotten calls from Irv Rubin. I've talked to many people in the community. I've heard terms like the new black Hitler. Why would you book him? Respond to those three words, new black Hitler.
I should dismiss it. I should not even dignify that foolishness with a response. I have never desired to put another human being in an oven. I have never taught that Jews should be exterminated because of their Jewishness. If I am a righteous person, and that I'm trying to be, I can never hate or dislike a person because of their faith. All Muslims believe in Abraham. All Muslims believe in Moses and all of the prophets that came to Israel and the scriptures that they brought. And all Jews who follow those scriptures are our brothers in faith. The Quran does not tell us that Jews who believe in God and the last day will meet anything other than salvation. So to call me a Hitler, I ask myself why. It is because God has blessed me with oratorical skill. And God has blessed me to be able to move the masses of our people as no other black person in recent times has done. And those who have oppressed us are so frightened that we will move our people to take vengeance against them for the evils that they have poured and continue to pour on our heads. While the reverse is true, we have been blessed through our suffering to become an exceedingly great people potentially. And it is my assignment, my mission as a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to raise black people first and foremost up from the grave of ignorance and mental death. And so when I look at Time magazine and see my picture on the cover, and then these words, ministry of rage, I ask myself, what is a minister? A minister is a servant. The preposition of denotes possession. So here's a servant who is possessed of what? Violent anger and fury. Yes, I, like you, am angry over the condition that our people live under. I'm angry at oppression. I'm angry at exploitation. I'm angry at the incessant tricks that are being used to deprive our people of justice. But I could never transform human life with rage, with hate, or with bitterness. But those whom God blesses me to teach, I bring them out of the prisons and I clean them up from drugs and alcohol. I teach our women the dignity of themselves as women and take them from a low life and encourage them to live the dignified life of a righteous woman. We put people together who were ignorant and make them lovers of knowledge. And then we unite our people and pool our resources to do things constructive for ourselves because we're tired of laying at the foot of white people, begging them to do for us what we can unite and do for ourselves. So my ministry is not a ministry of rage, but it is a ministry of love. And the problem is that we are teaching black people to love themselves. But look at what has happened. You brought me here to your show. And what happened, Arsenio? You incited so much rage, so much venom, so much hatred that now they don't want your show to show in the marketplace that it has shown. They've threatened you that they will take you off of the air and ruin your career. Farrakhan didn't do that. That's hate. That's bitterness. That's venom.
Yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough. We'll take a commercial. We'll come right back with Minister Louis Farrakhan. Wow. I introduced you to one of the producers here, my partner in crime since the old days, Marla Kell Brown. She's Jewish and a friend of mine. Do you have any Jewish friends?
No. I don't have any Jewish friends, not because I don't seek Jewish friends, but my whole ministry has been to black people in the last near 40 years. And it's only in the last 10 years that I have come under fire, so to speak, as an anti-Semite, that I have been reaching out to the Anti-Defamation League and other Jewish rabbis to let's sit down and talk. And so on an occasion, several rabbis have visited my home and had dinner with me, and we've discussed very candidly the problems between blacks and Jews. And I have visited their home and had dinner. But I don't consider that friendship.
Right.
You know, we have a lot of acquaintances. When we talk about black-Jewish relationships, the average black person in the ghetto does not have any relationship with Jewish people.
Can I grab this?
Sure.
This book, The Secret Relationship, and this is yours, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. I've seen you hold up this book during conversation. I found an interesting remark from a doctor who is black. His name is Dr. Henry Louis Gates, Jr., chairman of African American Studies at Harvard. He says this is the Bible of the new anti-Semitism. What's your response to that?
Oh, boy.
And I wish I had 2 hours
You
like
know,
Donahue.
a Bible should never be denigrated. The Word of God should never be denigrated. This book, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, is compiled by the Nation of Islam Research Department as an answer to the charge that Louis Farrakhan is anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic. I said that there were Jews who were involved in the slave trade. We have always heard that Arabs were involved, that Africans were involved, that white Europeans were involved in the slave trade, but we never knew much about Jewish involvement in the slave trade. In fact, there are many Jews themselves who do not know their involvement in the slave trade. So we researched. This is not a book written by us. This book is quotations from eminent Jewish rabbis, scholars, and historians. And we are only quoting what they say. So if it is anti-Semitic, then Jews themselves are the ones we are quoting. A respected Jewish rabbi said to me that this book is a great calumny against the Jewish people because it says that Jews were major in the slave trade, while he contended that Jews were only 2% of the slave trade. Now, I told the rabbi, since we quoted eminent Jewish scholars, rabbis, and historians, if he will go before the world and denounce every scholar that we have quoted as a liar, then I'll throw the book away. But this book says, and I'm quoting now, Jewish scholars, that the bulk of the slave trade in Brazil was in the hands of Jewish settlers. This was a Dr. Ira Friedman, who was a one-time president of the American Jewish Historical Society. Now, you know that in the Western Hemisphere, blacks in Brazil number more than blacks in America. And this same historical society said that 75% of the Jews in the South owned slaves, while only 36% of the Gentile whites owned slaves. Now, why are we saying this? What is this for? slavery caused the total destruction of an entire people. We lost our names, our language, our history, our culture, our God, and then were turned inside out because of slavery. And the fact that we have black-on-black violence, black-on-black crime, and the murder of one another is directly related to self-hatred, which was instilled in us through slavery, and the American institutions have reinforced it. At some point in time, everyone that had a part in our destruction must be called upon to have a part in our redemption. We can't let our African brothers off the hook. They helped to sell us into slavery.
Hello.
We can't let Arabs off the hook. They made a profit from slavery. We can't let Gentile Europeans off the hook, but neither can we let Jews off of the hook, who held our fathers as slaves. Nor can we let the government of America off, because the government of the United States of America has proved to be the worst enemy of black people. So now when it comes time for justice, this is not spoken out of hatred or out of bitterness, but reparations have to be given to black people, even as Jews received reparations from the onslaught of Nazi Germany. And now the Japanese are going to receive reparations for what America did by putting them in concentration camps. What's wrong with the children of slaves? We are here poor, ragged, hungry, naked, and out of doors. Reparations is what we want, and everyone that had a part in our destruction will have a part in paying reparations.
I'll be right back with more Louis Farrakhan. Wow. I thought about you and this evening, early yesterday evening, because a member of the Martin cast, most of you know him from Saturday Night Live, Garrett Morris, was shot by a black man. And I've heard you, everybody talks about how you beat up on the white man, but you beat up on us more than you beat up on anybody. You know, you put us in check as often as you possibly can and tell us when we're acting like animals. And people love those quotes. What do we do about black-on-black crime?
To rebuke a person, to admonish or to correct a person, does not mean hate. When someone will correct you, that is the greatest sign of their love for you. The scripture says, "He whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth much." These are our people. We cannot escape being identified with our own people. No matter how high you rise in the entertainment field, you cannot escape being identified with the least little brother in the hood. Michael Jackson is the greatest pop artist that the world has ever seen, and he is the most popular human being in the world. But Michael was treated like a slave on a plantation because of a charge that has yet to lead to a criminal charge. But here's a human being that had to be made to strip, forced in a judge's search order, that if he didn't strip, they had the right to be violent with him and force him to reveal his nakedness, that they may take pictures of him in that manner. That to me says that no matter how big Michael is, to those who look at us with our money, with our Mercedes-Benz, with our fine homes and our fine cars and our prominent positions in life, you're nothing but a nigger, and if you get out of your place, I will have to put you back in your place. Michael Jackson is an extremely wealthy man. but he's an extremely sensitive human being. And if you watch Michael, you can know that the essence of God is in that man. For if God's Spirit was not in Michael, Michael could not touch the hearts of so many millions of people, black, brown, red, yellow, and white, all over the earth. That man has God in him. I can't argue whether he's guilty or not. I don't know that. But I know that the man is being mistreated, and I ask myself, why? Why would tabloid television pay thousands of dollars to people to come on television to say what they say about Michael? Why would they threaten you with the loss of your show? This is what they think, that we are slaves to wealth, to power, to position over principle. And some of us are. But I believe that Michael is becoming politically mature. And Michael wants to use his political maturity along with his wealth to aid his people. And because there are those in high places that may fear the direction that Michael is going, let's strip him of his wealth, strip him of his fame, make him an outcast, then throw him in the laps of his people again. And so, my brother, I appeal to all of our people. Don't be afraid. Challenge your fear and stand up like men and women. For it is not white people that are your worst enemies. It is ignorance and the fear of what they will do that is our worst enemy. So when you challenge fear, as Arsenio has done tonight, he has earned even the respect of those who disagreed with him, because he's not just an entertainer, he's a man. He's a man with principle.
Take a quick one. We'll be right back.
Monday.
An hour goes like that. I just want you to get back in this remaining time to our people and how we treat each other.
We are the victims of ignorance and an oppressive system. There are more drugs in the black community today than ever before, and there are more guns in the black community than ever before. There was a time when black folk could not get a gun. But now black folk have guns, but not guns to shoot those who have destroyed us, but guns to destroy each other. Our work is to teach black people to love themselves. And you can't love what you don't know. So in Black History Month, all black people and all white people should get to know who we are. And when you know yourself, you'll fall in love with yourself. And when you fall in love with yourself, it'll be exceedingly difficult for any of us to do harm to ourselves. If we don't respect ourselves, who then will respect us? And if we don't love one another, who then can we expect to love us? So the burden is not on white people to change toward us. The burden is on us to change toward ourselves. And when we do that, we will force a change in them toward us. And I would like to close by saying this coming Sunday, in Chicago, we will have a satellite broadcast that all of America can see. If you really want to know what the Nation of Islam is and who Louis Farrakhan is and what we believe, in the privacy of your home or at locations throughout America where the satellite will come down, try and tune in so you will know me for yourself beyond the way I'm being represented. In the United States, it's Galaxy 7, Transponder 1. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Galaxy 7, Transponder 1. All of you that have a dish, come on and pull us down and look at us and write me and tell me what you think.
I got 30 seconds. Can I
Listen, I just
and
wanna
check
say-
your satellite guides also. You can call.
All
you can
those
check,
who are in Hawaii, St. Croix, Alaska, Mexico, it's Galaxy 4, transponder 14, 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Western time.
Quick question. I got 15 seconds. I got a letter from a lady who says, will he convert criminals and drug addicts to an army of hate for himself?
I will convert criminals and drug addicts to an army of love for ourselves, and if we can find a way to communicate that same love that we have for self, it won't stay there. It's for the total human family of the planet Earth. As long as you don't mistreat us, you don't have to fear anything coming from us.
We'll be right back with the Kirk Franklin family, or Kirk Franklin and the family, in a moment. Convicts.